excited that she picked something interesting that I've never worked with. But then yesterday when they came, I was a little less excited. The apricot kernels are something that I've never worked with before. They are, a lot of people say that they're poisonous. The back of this says that you can eat 1 per hour.
1 kernel per hour?
1 kernel per hour for the first few days is adequate for the average person.
How did you describe it before? Was it nasty or terrible?
Kind of terrible. It's not something that I wanted to taste again after tasting it one time. Intriguing though that they taste like almond after you have them in your mouth for a while.
After the poison starts to work.
Exactly. My husband walked to the kitchen yesterday and he thought they were almonds, and I had just toasted them. He grabbed one and popped it in his mouth and was at the sink spitting it out. All right, so for the nut brittle, super simple. That's all right. This doesn't have to be very exact because it's about sugar concentration more than anything. So about 3/4 of a cup of sugar and a pinch of salt. So this is glucose. You could also use corn syrup. I just put enough water in there to moisten the sugar. And now it goes on the stove. The bubbles will get bigger.
So why would anyone eat these things?
I guess they do give a nice sort of almondy flavor if used in small amounts. I think a lot of people use them in jams, and I guess ice cream is supposed to be phenomenal with this. And I wanted to try to come up with something a little more original than ice cream. So this is something that's not very temperamental, so I don't feel too worried about not using a thermometer when I do this. But if I'm making caramels or something like that where I need a certain set, I'll use a thermometer. This is about ready to add. Getting some bigger bubbles and they're slow. I'm gonna add these. And now we're just gonna cook it until it gets a darker brown color. So essentially what's happening right now is they're toasting. So instead of having to toast them in advance and then put them in a darker caramel, we're toasting them at the same time that the caramel is happening. So now get the baking soda and the vanilla. Give it a quick stir. Baking soda, once it gets stirred in, really does its job at aerating this a bit. Totally changes. And then I'm gonna come over here. Oops. It's alive. We're gonna do a clafoutis. So it's cream and eggs and sugar and then these ground up apricot kernels. There's 40 of them in here because I ended up doubling the amount. I would have liked to try it with cherries, but cherries aren't so much in season. We had really nice rhubarb, so we just took our regular sablé dough and we're gonna add some fresh cut rhubarb. I like the crunch of the crust. To me, clafoutis is a little, well, it's a custard. It's a little mushy, and I like the difference between the crust and the custard. Use some. And that's it. Yes. Oh, great. Bye. It's supposed to be subtle, but to me it's kind of lost. Well, the brittle was a surprise. I thought it was going to be a complete bust, but it seemed to work pretty well. And the clafoutis, I think that the flavor of the almond kernel could be a little bit stronger. It's not terribly strong. So maybe it's too much of a foil, and maybe it's too creamy to be able to stand up to the apricot kernel. I picked Paula Haney from Hoosier Mama Pie to do something with millet, and we have a stage that comes in here, and she said that they're already working on trying to figure out something, so I was a little jealous that she had so much time to work on it.